All right, welcome everybody. If you're just getting started with us, we have an incredible speaker for you here today. We have about 55 participants on the line, about 45 short of 100, which is our target for every call. So please let everybody know that we have none other than Mr. Bill Predebon on our call today. He's going to be our trainer. And a little bit about Bill. Before getting started with Renatus, Bill was actually a pro skier in Vail, Colorado for about 10 years. And around that time, he realized that he was not qualified to do much else and realized he was unemployable. He got into franchises, but due to a lack of knowledge, it ended up costing him his business and he lost everything. Now, he had just heard about real estate investing, and this was back in 2007, around that time. He had just heard about real estate investing and didn't have much education in it. He tried it on his own and got upside down over $400,000 during the crash in 2008 and made only $17,000 as a real estate loan officer. Around this time, he found Renatus, and in his first year alone, he made 8 times more than he did the previous year. Now, ever since then, Bill has now done over 130 deals. He's grossed multiple 7 figures in real estate. He is a PIT team member, a marketing leader, and we are very fortunate to have Bill on our call here this morning. So without further delay, I'd like to bring Bill on the line. Good morning, Bill. How are you today? Bill, unfortunately, we are not able to hear you properly. Yeah, for some reason it sounds like you're underwater. Yeah, Hira says it's doing the chipmunk thing again. Exactly. So I know this happens sometimes when we're on the call, but we're usually able to figure out this fairly shortly.
Is that any better, buddy?
Yes. Yes, Bill, we can hear you good now.
Sweet, I'll turn the video on here. Right on. Awesome, man. Thanks for that awesome introduction, buddy. Thanks for taking care of all this wonderful intro stuff that you do in the morning. I honestly would probably not know how to do it. So I'm glad it's you and not me. And thanks for taking the time to get that information out there and for that introduction. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all you do for everybody on this call and in your local market, man. It's awesome. Right on. Cool, here we go. So let's get this party started. I got a cool little training for us today. I'm gonna type up the chat. I'm gonna move this right over here. As you guys always know, I welcome, if you're brand new, welcome to the call. If you've just been joining us the last few weeks or a few days or whatever the case is, you're in for a treat, I think, every single day. Got some pretty amazing training. For most of you guys know this, but over the last couple of years that Michael and John O'Neill started this call, and then Christian Sadler, I've been listening to this call for, I think it's going on like 2 years until I got the opportunity to get on the call and train on it. So it's incredibly helpful. I mean, if you stick with it and you use this as another resource and just stick with it, it's, in my opinion, it's really a valuable resource. So this is my cell phone number. I don't know where that just happened there. Oh, sorry. Where did the chat go? There it is. So 760-533-3141. That's my cell. I'm gonna put it in the chat for you guys. 760-533-3141. So yeah, that way if you guys have anything and you need anything. So we're at 68 people. A little short today. I don't know why that is, but I guess it's Tuesday. Go ahead and invite your friends and your team and your colleagues onto the call. And let's kick it started. So remember, and again, for those of you who have been around for a while, you know this, but for those of you who are new or if you haven't heard in a while, if you've got something on your mind, you can chat it up. You can put it in the chat, type in the chat, or if you're driving, you can come off of mute and just ask. I don't have the system muted, but it might be, so you might have to hit *6 and then unmute yourself. But I'm open to always converse with you on anything that's important to you and what's going on in your business, whether it's real estate or marketing. I can always, in my opinion, give my view on real estate to make it about marketing. I think they go hand in hand. So yeah, feel free to interrupt anytime you like with something you've got on your mind. So awesome. Let's get started. So my goal today is to inspire. I was recently inspired, and I'm not going to dwell on it or spend a lot of time on it. As far as, we talked about it last week. We had some PIT team members that were doing their training, and then we got on the call the webinar last night, talked about London. And then I did a training last week. As you guys know, I was in London. I was in London on Tuesday. No, I was in Paris. I was in Paris when I did that call on Tuesday. And so, as you know, that was a gift from Bob, a trip for the top 10. So I'm not going to go into that. But here's what I got out of that. And I was inspired. So I've been doing this now, you guys. This is my 11th year, 2008. I think it might even be my 12th year. I'd have to see. It's 11 or 12 years that I've been involved in real estate from the education that you guys know today as Renatus. When I started with the company originally, my first 5 years with the company, we did not deliver the education online. It wasn't re-recorded or anything like that. It was all live, and there was roughly 25 classes maybe. And then we got the education for 2 years if you bought the bigger package, and that was it. So after that, you were left with the marketing and the community, which is a good thing because it paid off for me. I find the community to be the best opportunity out there. That probably is the key to the success that you see across the country with people doing deals. All right. So, my wife and I have been fortunate. So, as you heard, I'll be talking about a little bit about my history. When I started this, and I'm not going to tell my whole story. You guys, a lot of you know it already and stuff like that. And if you don't, you'll hear about it or whatever. But or you can ask me. But the first 5 years I was doing this business, I was pretty broke, and I had made enough mistakes that I put us in a situation where financially we were pretty big hole. Like our monthly income, our monthly debt, the monthly bills that my wife and I faced in 2008, 9, 10, 11, and 12 started at about 12 grand a month, 13,000 a month. And my wife wasn't making nearly that. And as you know, in 2007, I couldn't contribute. And so it took us a while to get out of the hole. And it was because of the marketing and the real estate that I was able to do that. Where I'm going somewhere with this story, so bear with me, you guys. And remember, if you have chat, feel free with it. My goal here today is to inspire, because I have recently been inspired, and I think inspiration is huge. I think transparency is incredible. I think people they want to be inspired. They want to be, people want help, but they also want hope. You know what I mean? And they want to know what's possible for them, not for you, but what's possible for them. And we at Renatus, with what you guys have already done, in my opinion, by enrolling in Renatus and being a part of this call and the calls that, being on Michael's team and John's team and Mitch's team and all the people in Seattle, Lee James, and just, you guys have done something already that inspires people. And people, I promise you, when they see your posts on Facebook, they're maybe not jealous, but they're interested, and they're afraid. They wish that they could have done what you've already been doing, and they may not come out and say that, but it's true. And so when as things started to go along, like I had a good first year, right? But I had a $70,000 month in May of 2000. 8. I had closed a short sale. I made almost 50 grand on it. And then I had two Renata sales actually that month, or the old company. And then I closed another little small short sale. I think I made like 5 grand on that one. So it was over 70 grand. And the money was already gone because we were spending $10,000 a month, as you know, on bills, like I said. And so I gave my wife a check. I remember writing a check for like $48,000 or something to my wife. And it barely covered the next 2 months' bills because she had spent her entire savings on our bills because of all the mistakes I made. And, 2009, I flipped 19 homes, I think, in 2009. And I started doing flips in 2009. Short sales were still around, but I was flipping them now. The laws had changed. You had to actually close on those short sales. And so I started raising private money. And so I had a pretty good year. And every year I started making a little bit more money in real estate. And I got into some buy and hold. I didn't get into actually own my first rental till 2013 because everything I made had to go to bills and debt and just reinvest it and stuff like that. And it was just a battle, right? And I had a lot of debt. And what I'm getting at is we started to see the light in around 2012, 2013. I remember I closed on this big deal in California, made like 50 grand. And we had bought that house in 2007, you guys, and we didn't furnish it. Like it was huge, 3,000 square feet, which for us was a big house. And we didn't furnish the damn thing. Like we had the same bed from way back and cause we had no money. So I remember buying this $5,000 bed. It was super comfortable. I remember buying a big table for the house. We bought a pool table. I bought a big desk and I bought it used actually, guys. I didn't go out and spend a bunch of money, but my point was I finally had some extra money to buy some stuff. And it had been a while. That was 2011, I think. And then what I'm getting at is we started to get out of debt and things started to change. And 2013, we took somewhere around, I think 13 vacations in 2013. That were almost all of them were a week long. And I made more money in 2013 from marketing and from real estate than I had the previous years. And so we went to Mexico a couple of times. We went to Hawaii twice that year. We went back home to Michigan for I think like 10 days in the summer, see my parents and her friends and family. And it was a great travel year. A couple of my friends got married, so we went to those weddings. And so with all that said, you move forward. This last trip in London was incredible, right? For some reason, we never went overseas, right? I've always had a passport. If you don't have your passport, you guys get your passport. It's really cool. It's kind of like one of those things on your vision board or whatever. It's like, build it and they will come. Take the steps that it takes to make it happen, and it'll help lead towards that happening, right? It puts it out in the universe that you're going to be traveling, especially the Leaders Retreat or whatever it is. And so, my wife and I called for this London trip. Bob paid for the tickets, right? But he paid first class for Nate and his wife to go because he won the contest. And so I was like, I wanted to fly first class. And so first class in the States, if you've flown it, it's pretty cool. You get drinks and you get up the line and all that stuff. But the seating's, it's decent. But I had always heard about the international first class and business class. And so I called up the airline. I was trying to schedule this, and it was 10 grand, you guys. It was $10,000 per person to upgrade to first class. And then I got put on a waiting list to do it. And I could use miles. So I use my miles card as my velocity banking, you guys. I get 10,000 miles a month on my miles card. So I wasn't worried about miles. And then it was only like $350 a person plus 25,000 miles to get on the upgrade, but we had to sit on a waiting list. And I only have gold status with American. I don't have platinum. I don't fly that much. I'm not platinum or silver or any of that stuff. So we were last in line. But I called the day before the trip and we got upgraded. And I was like, sweet. So we got upgraded. And I'll tell you, it is amazing, right? So I'm sharing the story. I'm going to go somewhere with this on this training. You guys, I was super inspired. And like, what I mean by this is we don't think about what we don't, like we think about cars or houses or, I don't know, putting your kids to college. I'm looking forward to when I can open up my nonprofit no-kill shelter for animals. But a lot of times when we get started, even when things start to go well, but you're still digging yourself out of a financial hole, maybe you're still working in your job that you want to quit, but you're not quite ready to do that. Whatever it is with you, maybe you're semi-retired, maybe you're just coming out of college and you can't even imagine not having money, and you're just, you haven't even thought that far ahead. But like we limit our dreams is what I'm getting at. We limit what we think we're capable of. And I just disagree with that. This reinvented the wheel for me. Like, if you guys remember Bob Snyder at Nationals, if you weren't at Nationals, talk to people that were and get a feel for it if you can. I mean, honestly, ask people questions because it's incredible. But, he gave a $10,000 check. I had a couple $100 in my pocket, an extra $300 cash. I donated $300 cash to that cause, to the underground. And then I signed up immediately when he put on the text. I signed up for $500 a month on the underground, right? So, but he had $10,000 that he gave. Plus, he signed up for a monthly fee. Who knows what that is, right? That he's donating to Bob Snyder. We've set ourselves. We don't imagine ourselves being like that enough, I think. So flying over first class. Obviously, we're first in line getting on the plane. And when you put an international flight, you've got a lot of people getting on the plane. It takes a lot of time. They're just treating us like kings, right? And up in business class on an international, like they do in first class. But everybody, here it's like almost separate. It's in the front of the plane. The people don't even walk by you. You're like getting ready. They give you a toiletry bag. And many of you might have already flown international first class, which is awesome. So I'm preaching to the choir. I get it. But for me, it was a first, and I was really excited. Plus, I was 11-hour flight. My wife really wanted to be able to rest and lay down, and we wanted to be rested for when we get to London and stuff. And it was just a bonus, And then they, you get your own snack bar. You've got your very own bathrooms. You have someone waiting on you the entire time. You can get up and move around. Your chair has, like a car, it has multiple adjustments. You get your own Bose headset. You got your own TV, your own gaming control system. You get your own blanket, your sheets. You get blanket, sheets, and pillows, all wrapped up, clean. It's unbelievable. Then we get off the plane right after all this, and they're like, "Here you go," and they give us this pass, right? And it's a customs fast track. And the line for customs, you guys, was like an hour long. And we were through customs in 10 minutes. We had our own section for customs. We also, as you guys know, you've done it in America too, probably when you fly first class, but it's pretty amazing when you actually get the opportunity to go to the lounge, right? And the lounge at British Airways back in London, when we flew business class on the way back, you guys, it's incredible. I took a couple pictures, and I mean, you got a full bar. You just serve yourself. You got a buffet. You got coffee, espresso. You've got business center, TVs. You've got, I mean, it's like an office. It's like you work for a corporation, and you're like a king, and you're at the luncheon room, and it's just insane. Tables, plugs everywhere. You can charge everything. You can get connected. You can unwind. They got lounge chairs. They got every type of drink and soda and coffee and tea and hot water and everything you want, food everywhere, chips and snacks. It's just unbelievable what you get up in this lounge, right? And it's very, 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 very nicely done. And then again, you get the opportunity to just have an entirely different experience flying than you do in any type of economy seating. And so this isn't about the ability to just spend money and do that. in between those two flights, you guys, I obviously spent time with some people in Renatus that we all know and love, and Bob himself and his daughter. And these folks, you know, work their butt off. They live and breathe Renatus in the marketing as well, like we all do, right? But you know, they were fortunate. They had a good 3 months, like I did. Things all came together, and they made the contest. And so, but you don't want to miss these events. Like I am afraid, if you will, of not making it. That's why you guys, if you heard me, I must have told Bob I'm grandfathered in like 50 times. I made up this grandfather thing. I'm like, because I don't want to miss the next one. I don't want to be out. Like I'm scared for the next competition if he does it again. I don't know if he's doing it again. You know, I think he's going to check and see what the success was. Thanks, Keely. Right. But like, I'm like, hey, let's just, you know, these top 10, let's just keep them in the top 10 forever. and we'll just tell you guys about it because I don't want to miss it. Like I don't ever want to miss it again. And I'm going to relate to you guys on something. So, and some of you heard this, but go back with me, guys. Imagine, I want you to think, please, about, I don't know what you're doing, driving, going to work, getting ready for work, hanging out in your bedroom or your office or whatever you're doing. But so this was me 10 years ago, and they would do contests for the top 5 income earners. And you guys, 2 of the trips that they did them every year. And 2 of the trips that I remember, that one before I even got started and then one after, for the top 5, one was they went to the Autobahn in Germany and they all raced, I mean, exotic sports cars, not just a Lamborghini, but like the top of the top, right? Bob Snyder was driving a Mercedes SLR McLaren. You know, it had a range of over 200 miles an hour. I mean, he drove the car over 200 miles an hour on the Autobahn with his wife in the car, right? And his partner did too. Just a crazy trip out there. You know, everybody taken care of. And I remember I was just furious. And it was so far-fetched for me to ever think that I would ever be a part of that, right? The top 10 in the company, the top 5 in the company, and get to go on these all-expense trips, paid trips. The next year, you guys, they went to Bora Bora, and they rented chartered a ship, like an 80-footer. And if I remember correctly, there was 2 staff members for every 1 person on the boat. Everybody got to bring a spouse, and I think they took the top 5 income earners, their spouses. They took a few other people, and they had another sales contest that I think James and Lisa won, and they got to go on. I mean, they dove with the sharks. They did things. This trip was incredible, and so I'm fast forwarding right now, and I'm thinking about like what you're thinking, you know, and back in the day, then, you know, I knew what I was missing, but more from a jealousy standpoint, but not from an experience standpoint. So what I'm getting at is, like, you don't need to win a contest to go to London. But when we dive into the training here, what we have here is the ability to create whatever you want. Like, you know that if you talk to folks, the compensation, the earnings plan is so incredible over time, right? And so for some people, they make a lot of money right away. It's pretty untypical when that happens. But for most people, it's over time, right? You build this tidal wave, like I've talked about, this tsunami behind you. You do all these leads, you don't get results, and then all of a sudden results start to come. Then you build a team, then your team starts to build. They go through the same growing pains. It takes them 6 months or a year to get up and running, but then all of a sudden you're getting overrides from them. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the road, you're making multiple 6 figures in this business because you didn't never learn to quit. You never, ever, ever learned to quit. And you kept coming to the meetings and kept going to the Super Saturdays and kept getting on these stupid calls, right? And so when we think about this, like, the in between the 2 flights was this, you know, really 5 days with Bob and everybody else. And then we kind of, each of us went our separate ways. Some of us went to France and some of us went to Scotland. And and we hung out and we talked every meal. And we were a close-knit family the whole time. Like you guys, if you can imagine, but we all got there the same way. It wasn't like we were just on vacation partying. It was masterminding and talking and discussing our teams. And I mean, even at the pub till 2 a.m, we're sitting down with me and Zach and Michael Huggins and stuff. And we're just talking about, what the study groups look like and how we work our team. We're talking with Umair and Yaz and talking about, how they made $175,000, but they're trying to get their team to come along with them and how they feel like they're falling short. Like there's so many conversations and talking to Bob, and, Bob was just so willing to share and like to just like grassroots, right? So he's down on the ground and just talking about what it was like when he was marketing, when he started the companies and what he envisions your clothes to be at your presentation. And we're just filming it, right? And we're asking questions. It's just so invaluable and so incredible to listen to these superstars making, changing all these lives and helping all these people, but yet making all this money and being able to go to these things. So I want you to think about it. Like, I want you to think about something you haven't thought about maybe in a while, what you could do for your life. Like take a trip I'm not talking about monetary stuff, you guys. I'm not just talking about buying cars and stuff like that. And that's going to come and that'll be good too. You know me, I love cars and stuff like that. And I love spending money, but I'm just talking about the opportunity to do these things that we normally don't think about doing because we don't see ourselves doing them. I mean, I did not see myself winning a contest ever, right? And going on an all expense trip to London. And you heard, if you heard a little bit about the 10 minutes I shared last night about how I approached this contest in the beginning, right? Now, so like, if you could, what I took back from this trip was that like, I'm not even playing full out. And when I mean full out, I mean in every way, shape or form, right? Like I don't own a 50 unit building. I don't, Bob actually, he was just on that Abdi just played on the Generally Speaking, and he's talking about how comfortable he is. He's done a lot of amazing things and created an extraordinary amount of wealth for himself and his wife. He and his wife have done it for themselves. On multiple companies and things like that, been doing this a while. And he is talking, and he's like, you know what? There's a lot more people than me that have far more greater wealth than him, right? And so, but I forgot what I thought because I read this. I'll get right back to that. Hold on. So Sandra Hernandez says, how did you deal with frustration? And I'm assuming we're talking about, and this is a great question, you guys. I don't deal with it very well, right? I get envious, I get jealous, and I get upset that it's not me and I want it, right? And so the only way that this is the way it works. This is what we do, is defy what your mind is telling you not to do and do it. And what I mean by that is typically the frustration is coming from lack of results, right? It's also coming from me. It's coming from watching other people get results, all right? And it's coming from other people creating something I want to create that I'm not able to create yet, that I haven't done yet, right? Now, the key is that what I did is I pressed on regardless, POR, pressed on regardless. And what that means is, although I was frustrated, jealous, and angry and envious, the only thing that was different between me and them, other than they had already achieved what I wanted, was that they were doing what I knew I needed to do. So they had already done what I was supposed to be doing, which is going to the events, right? Learning. And as we go to these events and we still don't talk to people, that's our curve. Whatever it is, unfortunately, we don't do it enough. But eventually you will. Eventually you will. If you study the education, you will eventually apply it. If you go to the events and don't miss the Super Saturdays and don't miss these calls and don't miss the Thursday nights and you engage, you go there and you play full out, you will get results. It may take you longer, but it will happen. And that's what I found is I didn't quit. I didn't give up, and I didn't let my head telling me it's not going to happen for me, and that it wasn't me, and that it's never going to happen. All those thoughts are going through my head, and I was pissed. I mean, I will never forget it. But the system was there, and if I plugged into the system, what they accomplished, they did by just plugging in the system. Because I swear to God, if you listen to anybody's stories, and I remember the old top 5 income earners and those guys that they win, their stories were no different than Michael's and Scott Rose and stuff like that, like where they literally came through some crap themselves. You know what I mean? And not everybody is coming from crap, but crap doesn't mean that you are broke. Crap means that you're in a job, you're working too much, you have too much, you live above your means, so you're trying to provide for this family, you have a good job, but you're not making ends meet, or you're not looking at a retirement, you don't own any rental property. That's all crap for some people. So you and I are the same, no matter what our crap is, right? We all live in the crap. And so, like, no matter what it is, this system enables us to have what it is that we want if we continue to do it. And I'm not talking about just the marketing. I'm talking about both. I'm talking about the education, diving in the education every day. Again, you've heard me say it before. I was forced for 2 straight years to watch education every single quarter that they had it live, because I didn't have access to it 24/7. So you've got to find yourself and force yourself to dive into that education and write down questions and write down action steps and then implement them along the way. If you don't know how to implement them, or if you're afraid, or whatever's holding you back, that's totally cool. Check with your coach. Get on the Tuesday night coaching call like I did. I got on that coaching call for a year straight, right? If not, then talk to your 5 stars and your people in your local community that are doing real estate and have them help you implement stuff, or at least bounce ideas off them. It's going to be up to you. Not up to your mentor or your 5-star or anything like that, but at least you can bounce ideas off them, right? So, I know I take a long time to answer these questions because A, it's the only one, but I'm going to get back to my training here in a second. But B, I really want to, it brings out a whole new topic when I get these questions. And I think that it's important that we really, dive into it. And this is a common thing, I think, frustration in this business. If it was damn easy, everybody we wouldn't even have a training call. You just enroll somebody, and next year they're making 6 figures. It just doesn't work that way. But it does work, and it works for every one of you, whatever path you choose. So maybe what I'm getting at is, I'm not playing full out. I am not playing at my potential. None of us are. We get to a certain point, we're happy, we're satisfied, we celebrate, but we've got to move on, right? I don't know if you guys have done the math, and I don't know what Michael's expenses are, or Scott Rose, or, Nate Lambert's and stuff like that. It's hard to imagine. You're welcome, Sandra. I'm really glad. I really hope that helped. You guys, but, even if you take, Michael made over $800,000 in the marketing, right? So for a 30-year-old kid, right? That's $70,000 a month, roughly. 70 grand a month. Like that's twice the Arizona average income for an average salary. And that's take home. Of course, then he pays his bills, he pays his overhead and stuff like that. But, maybe he took home, what if he took home 40,000 out of all that? I mean, after all expenses, right? He had 40 grand in his pocket. That's $400,000, $480,000 that he's got in the bank account to spend money on. Maybe it's less. Maybe who knows what his expenses are. But my point is, it's a lot of money, no matter how you look at it. I appreciate that, Brian. Absolutely, bro. That's cool. So, like, if there's something you want to do, and something that inspires you, then maybe, and I know you write stuff down. I know you guys have goals and stuff like that, but make it I don't know how to put it. Make it count, right? So like, listen to this. I remember when I first saw Renatus and we went to this event, my wife and I were driving home, and this is like end of 2007. And I was getting ready I was trying to find the money to enroll. And there was this house on the hill on the 51 freeway. And my wife goes, what is your why? Right. She goes, and I'm not a big why guy, but she was like, hey, cause we had the trainer and the stuff, they were talking about whys, and she goes, what is your why? And I was like, why is, I thought about it really quickly. And I was like, why is to me is, when we've got that house on the hill, and I'm driving the right car, and, it just means that I made it, right? It means that we're there, we don't have to worry anymore. And, and that we have what we want, whatever. And like, it was like, I meant it on purpose, like about meaning, okay, so now we can give back and not, but listen, it's like, it was so shallow. Like, I didn't mean it to be like, I wasn't meant that I'm going to have this stuff, even though that's nice to have. But you guys, she started to cry. Like, and she's like, who the hell am I with? Like, who did I marry? Because like, that's not a why, right? But I couldn't even describe my own why because I didn't know what it was deep enough. Like I knew what I meant. Like I knew, when we get to a certain point, we're like, okay, so we've done well enough that, now things we can breathe, and we did it for our family. We did it for our kids. We did it for animals or whatever it is we're doing it for, a higher purpose, give back to the church, whatever it is that we did it for. So we, along the way, we're also human and we're selfish and we're going to buy a bigger house or a nicer car, whatever it is. And we're going to pay off debt and go on travel trips and stuff like that. That's all that. But we have that ability. We've made it, right? But the why, the why is if there's something that inspires you, put it out. Think about it and imagine, be inspired by it. Like imagine what it's going to feel like. Like if you're like, hey, I just want to take a trip to this year and I want to take an extra trip and take my family back home to see our relatives, or I just want to go to the beach for a week, or what, like imagine something that you want this year. Like the year's got 3/4 of the year still to go, 2/3 of the year. But check this out, you guys. Like, now go like, let's buy first class. Let's stay in a 5-star hotel. Let's have an extra $10,000 to spend. Like we don't think, like we're just satisfied with something a little bit more than we have. And I'm not saying you're going to go do that if you get the money, the extra 10 grand, you're going to waste it on first class. But you know what I'm saying? Like dream bigger. Like want more. Because if you want more and you do more, you're helping way more people. Like Bob's not stopping till there's 1 million of us. So I don't know about you, but I want to be part of bringing some of those people in because it's going to change who I am and where we are. You know what I mean? And like, I look back and I'm like, 10 years and, hey, LaShawn, that's awesome. Absolutely. You guys, I appreciate you guys telling me how you feel, because I hope this is sometimes, I like to train on something specific that you can take with you and then you can go do it today. But this is something, even though it's not tangible, like, oh, I'm going to go call a lead and talk to this person the right way. It's still something that maybe helps you to want to do that more is what I'm getting at, because like, this is how I feel. I've been rejuvenated and there's, you know what I mean? You guys, like in marketing, I just placed another order with one of my students yesterday for her sale. And then I have another order I'm placing in this week for my direct sale. I'm at like $80,000 already for the year, right? Which isn't a ton. I mean, Michael's making 80 a month or whatever, but I'm getting there, right? So my point is just in the marketing alone, and my board behind me, I've made over 50,000 in real estate already. And I have another 9 deals on the board that I'm in right now, right? So like, so I know someone's mic is on, Tracy. Yeah, check your mics, you guys. If there is someone but it's not too bad. It's just someone breathing or something. But anyway, whatever it is that you guys think about, think bigger about it, and imagine. I mean, because like you deserve it. Like people live at a level that we don't even know about. And then they're literally able to give back and donate a $10,000 check without even thinking about it, right? Like Bob Snyder did and I guarantee if every one of us had 10 grand to give that day, we would have given it, right? But we don't yet, right? So I got another question. Here we go. How do you deal with non-responsive leads that give you, that you give your AMP video to? So it's a cool question. I'm not 100% sure what you mean by non-responsive leads. And I don't know if it's a cold lead or even if it doesn't matter if it's cold or warm, but I can promise you this. It is so, an old mentor of mine used to tell me this, right? It's easier to give birth than wake the dead, right? So if you've got a lead that's dead and you're dragging them along, it consumes you and it consumes your energy. Even if you've got someone on your team that you're trying to upgrade or that has bought the education and is just all consuming, spending time there is you've got to do a little bit, but you can't spend all your time if you want something from that. You've got to let it go. So the answer to your question, I think, in my opinion, for what I do is that you've got to get a few more leads, right? So you've got to move on. Now you drip on them, and then I do two things. So one is I don't give up necessarily. I drip is a bad word or not a word that I like to use. I continue to market to them and follow up with them and text them. And I don't spend a lot of time calling them, but I'll text them. But the number one thing I do with a lead that's non-responsive is I have to absolutely re-ask questions that are intriguing. Everybody, no matter how non-responsive, no matter what their objection, if it's money, time, doubt, this is a scam, this is multi-level, whatever it is that they're thinking, everybody's there for a reason. They got a hold of you somehow, from way, because they need something. So something is driving them. And it's with questions, you can possibly find out what that is. And once you do, then you can have a better conversation and you can send them the right video or say the right thing to them. But if we haven't opened up their mind to that with the right question, and all we're doing is trying to show them what we believe to be the best thing in the world, and we care about them, honestly, whether they're cold or warm to us, no matter what type of market they are, we really believe that they need to see this. But here's the thing, like we want them to see it, but they're not open to it because we haven't asked enough questions. We haven't opened their mind to what we're trying to offer. They're not ready to receive. So number one is I continue to work with them, but I just change the way I'm marketing to them. I have to change the way that I'm asking them a question to see my information. Number two is, I was talking about this yesterday. So a friend of one of my team members, Jen, her friend, she's known her for a while, so warm market. So she came to a property tour and was very interested. She loved the community. She couldn't get to a Thursday at all. Her work schedule didn't work. I went out of town, London. They continued to talk. She came to an intensive. She loved it. The education was incredible. I'll get to these couple questions I got coming up in just a second. Then again, I was gone after that intensive. I was out of the country. So then all of a sudden we get a chance to get together. The schedules didn't meet. So I just did a one-on-one with her myself. And she enrolled yesterday, and we worked on her funding. It was a very positive. She knew what was out there. She knew she always wanted to get into real estate. She tried it before. The timing was right. She was a ready, able, and willing client, student, prospect, and friend, and person. And so that's the type of people you want to spend your time with. Once they see it, it becomes what's in it for them. They get their clarity on where they're going. They get enough information to make a decision, and typically they make the right decision, and then it's just about funding. Some people are not able, and that's a little bit more frustrating. But when you talk to the right people and you spend time with them, it makes it far easier than to talk to another 10 people that aren't ready, willing, or able. Maybe they're ready and willing, but they're not able. Maybe they're ready and able, but they're not willing, whatever it is. So you're willing to work more along with them a little bit longer because you've got other people that are just going through the steps. It doesn't take a lot of you don't even have to ask for the sale, and you do, but you know what I mean? You just plug it in and they go in the system 3, 4, 5 touches, and boom, they're in, and you're good to go, and everybody's happy, and you got someone new on your team. So here's let's see. You're welcome, Esther, and I appreciate it. Awesome. I have a very much connected to your beginning down the exact monetary debt of $70K. I recently, this is private. Okay, I'm going to get to that in a minute. Yeah, call me after the call. Okay, cool. That's private. Okay, so what did you send them? So I think what you mean by that is for a non-responsible, maybe it's time to move on to new leads, only spend a little time on. You're right, Keely. That's exactly what I said. Perfect. So what I send them is I have to, so we got time. Yeah, cool. I appreciate you guys. This is so awesome. Man, I just love being on this call with you guys. I feel like you're all my friends and we're just hanging out. I wish we could open mic it, but so this is at least something close to that. So here we go. What I send them is this. We have to think about, it's very important to go back to our own roots and think about where we were. I don't care if you're day one today or day 100,000, whatever it is, or in between. We have to remember like why we got started or what we were looking for and how we felt, right? We've got to remember how we feel where we were in the beginning, the first meeting we went to, or the first call we took. I don't know if you're cold to warm or warm market, cold market, whatever it is, and put yourself in their shoes, right? And we all know that no matter what you're doing, right? There's songs written about it all over the place, right? If you could walk in this guy's shoes for one day, you know what I mean? We walk by a homeless person, you know, we feel bad, we want to give. Sometimes we're angry, whatever the case is, whatever we feel that day based on our situation, but we don't really put ourselves in their damn shoes. Like for a split second, we might go, oh my God, I'd hate to be that person, or I can't imagine what they're feeling or how cold they are, but that's it. Put yourself in this person's shoes that's calling you and wanting to listen to you. And then you can try to imagine what the question would be that you would ask them and what you would send them. Right. And remember what we always do, you guys, is we, unfortunately, as we go through this learning curve, is we think about what we feel and what we believe they need to see or hear. But we don't think about what they really are telling us they want to hear and see, if that makes sense. We know what we wanted. We know what we like. We know what we feel is important, velocity banking or real estate or buy and hold or the community or a friend or some story that we know really well and we resonated with in the community. So we love that story and it relates to us or this person, but it might not be for your prospect. You got to find your prospect and figure out what story is going to relate to them. And by asking a couple questions, that's all. And then I send them a question about, you know, where they're at and where they're coming from so that I can relate to them, honestly. And I guess it just comes down to really, if you really want to care about getting that person enrolled, by finding out a little bit more important information about them and where they are, and if you could remember it. So great question. I hope that helped. As far as I don't have anything specific I send them other than a question. I don't send much online on links, you guys. I literally talk to people on the phone. What do you do to bring new leads into your life? Cool. All right. Drive. I'm not a big drive guy. Maybe I think I am. I do it my own way, but I don't use the cards. I don't have that program yet with Woody. I think it's super powerful. I think it's super helpful. But like Dave Ramsey, I think is amazing for most people, and it gets people on track. But I'm not a very good saver. I don't like the envelopes. I struggled with it, right? So it didn't resonate with me. Same thing with the drive. I haven't overcome, even Woody's ability to, to do this drive system and gain. I don't even know my own damn personality. So yeah, I got to work on that. I'm gonna make that next, right? So, but what I do to bring in new leads is this. I used to, as you guys know, I used to use Craigslist, but I haven't used it since January, since that was a kibosh before we even announced it at Nationals. I knew that it was coming down the pipe. Michael talked about it. And we talked about it at leadership. So I knew I had to get rid of Craigslist. So, I'm using the 3-foot rule. I'm also mainly, you guys, I'm 100% focused on Facebook. I'm also using my phone. Like on the drive contest, I reached out to people. I finally, after 12 years, got one of my very closest friends from Vail, Colorado, to enroll. He didn't enroll in the whole combo, but he enrolled in the advanced. And it took some talking to, and I had to go back and, I wanted it for him more than he wanted. He didn't even care. He needs it, but he doesn't think he needs it. He makes really good money. He owns a great company. And so But I had to dig down and really have a conversation with him about it and why I felt like it was important that he had it, and what we could do together with it, right? And how we could grow together, because the guy works an unbelievably amount of time. I mean, he really owns a job. So honestly, I now am spending far greater time with people that I did not spend time with in my phone, that are my warm market, my email, my Facebook, and warm market. And I believe that, you know, for every one I enroll on my team, you guys, especially when you get 5-star, you've got 2 more coming, because that person's going to want to get marketing going. And I focus 60+% of time on my team. I'm fortunate enough. I've got an amazing team. The people on this call, the people that I've enrolled over the last 12 months and in the last 3 years, I'm fortunate beyond belief, you guys. So I spend time with them every single day. I text my team. I call them. I have a group text. I encourage them. And then if they have one-on-ones, even the people that are already 5-star, I'm working with them, and I follow up with them about their guests from Thursday night. And then I focus on the folks that aren't 5-star on my board. I wrote down all the people that I need to work on getting 5-star for leadership. And so I spend 60% of my time there for new leads, because that's why this system is so amazing. You've got all these new leads when you become 5-star. And if you want to become 5-star fast, no matter how long it's been for you, please look at your warm market, get with your affiliate, if whoever that is, or anybody you resonate with in your community, and spend time on the next 10 top people in your warm market, and just reach out to them again. Do it differently, with a new perspective and a new inspiration. Whatever it is, you guys, today, from this moment on, it's 8 a.m. Whatever you're thinking about that drives you, think bigger. Be inspired by yourself and your family and your kids. I mean, imagine if you're like, oh, I want my kid to go to college and I want to be able to pay for it. Not college. What about Harvard? What about Michigan? What about UCLA? You know, what about whatever? The best of the best schools, whatever they want to do. If they want to go to a music, you know, go to, I don't know, New York and study music, but be able to pay for it. Think bigger, dream bigger, play full out. Like engage, and just whatever you do, continue to do what you're doing, and give yourself credit for what you've already done. You have done something that most people in the country today, right now, in their cars, getting ready for work, in their routine with their kids going to school, they are not doing what you're doing right now to start your day. So be grateful and thankful that you guys are doing that, because you're miles ahead. And don't ever learn to quit this business and Renatus, the marketing and the education, and it will pay off for you. So, all right, once again, you guys got my number. You guys are awesome. So I'm going to type it in here. 760-533-3141 is my number. And Eric, yeah, I think you've got my number. If you want to give me a call or shoot me a text and I'll call you, that's cool. Love to talk to you. There's my number in the chat. And I just said it, 760-533-3141. I'm fairly busy all the time on my phone. Sometimes I'll get off a call like this and there'll be 18 text messages. So most of the time I'll leave your text message open until I get to it. So if I haven't responded to you right away, I will get to you. If it's urgent and you got something going on right away, text me and then call me, or call me and then text me, and then I'll know it's urgent. You reached out to me twice in a row. Cool. One more time. I'm doing it privately. That's why. Hold on. To everyone. Hold on. There we go. 760-533-3141. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I was too private for instead of everyone. 760-533-3141. Awesome, Keely. That's so good. I hope it was a positive response. Rico, that is such a cool name. You're awesome. Thank you, everybody. These comments mean as much to me as me talking to you, I hope. Thank you so much for being on this call. It's 8 o'clock. Make it a great day. I appreciate you guys being on this call, and I'll see you next Tuesday. I hope this was something that, I just hope it's valuable to you. Take care. Thanks, everybody. Grandfather. Exactly, Hera, right? That's so funny. Bless you too, Christine. I get your guys' names. They're so cool. Esther and awesome. Crystal, perfect. You're welcome. Thank you guys. And I'll see you on the flip side. See you guys on the call with Michael or John tomorrow and Christian on Thursday. And make it a great week. It's going to be awesome. Thanks, everybody.